Adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator. So here we got a picture. We can count there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces in each of these circles. You could say 8 slices of pie. And so if we're using this as a representation of a fraction, here we're going to say this is an equation. This fraction plus this fraction equals, and then we'll figure out what this fraction is. We'll figure out what the answer is. So we can write these as fractions. And so if there are 8 total pieces, then that is the denominator. Okay, we count up how many there are. That's the denominator. This is the same picture. This is also the same picture. So they all have a denominator of 8. So it's the same denominator. Now, we need to find the numerator, the number on top of the fraction. So to do that, it's basically what has been shaded in. So here it's been shaded in blue. And we can just count them. We have 1, 2, 3 slices of the pie, 3 pieces from the circle. So 3/8 is represented by this picture. Then we're going to add, count these, 1, 2. This is 2/8. So we're going to add 3/8 plus 2/8. So because they have the same denominator, this makes it a little bit easier. However, pictorially, we're just going to go straight to the picture, which is we're going to count, there's 1, 2, 3 here. Then we're going to add 1, 2 here. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So we're going to shade in 5 of these pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so when we add 3 of the slices plus 2 of the slices, we get 5 slices. And of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that will be 5/8. So 3/8 plus 2/8 equals 5/8. So that's one way to look at it if we're using pictures, or manipulatives if you're playing around with circles and their separate pieces. But we can also write this out algebraically, and we can also do subtraction. So let's get straight into that. Let's say we have 5/8. Okay, so similar to the last question, but not exactly the same. 5/8, and we want to subtract 2/8. Okay, so because the denominator is the same, we can just look at what's happening on the numerators. Okay, so 5 minus 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. And the denominators are the same, so the denominator in the answer is the same. So that makes it quite straightforward. Okay, so we can do this algebraically. We can have this written in different ways. Let's say we have 7/5. Or let's say we have -3/5, actually, and we're going to add 7/5. Okay, we're going to add 7/5 to -3/5. Okay, so there's a couple ways we could do this, but the denominator is the same. So that means the denominator in the answer will also be the same. So here 5, 5, and then again, it's still 5. So here we can look at -3, and then we're going to add 7. So what is -3 plus 7? Okay. -3 plus 7 is +4. So we're left with 4/5. This is the same thing as 7/5 minus 3/5. Okay, so if we just rearrange, put the 7 here and the -3 here, 7/5 minus 3/5 also equals 4/5. Okay, so the same rules that apply for adding and subtracting integers applies for adding and subtracting fractions. Okay, so when we add a positive, we are performing addition. Okay, when we add a negative, we're performing subtraction. When we're subtracting a positive, we're also performing subtraction. And we subtract a negative, okay, both sides are the same, we're actually adding. Okay, when we subtract a negative, we are adding. So if we do that with fractions, let's say we do an example. Let's say we're going to take 2/3, and we want to subtract -1/3. Okay, what we'll do first is we'll rewrite the question. Okay, so 2/3 minus -1/3. Well, minus minus is adding. So we'll rewrite this as 2/3 plus 1/3. Okay, now the denominators are the same, so the denominator in the solution will be the same. Now we just have to look at what's happening in the numerators. 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So this is 3/3, which of course we know is 1. So 2/3 minus -1/3 is 1.